One test, that's all it takes. In India, a single exam can decide whether you become a doctor, an engineer, or start over from the beginning. Students spend years preparing for this moment. And in just a few hours inside a classroom, everything can change. India runs some of the largest competitive exams in the world. We're not talking thousands. We're talking millions. These exams are not just academic milestones. For many families, they represent economic mobility. A single rank can influence income, stability, and opportunity for decades. Every year, millions of students fill exam halls across the country. Long rows of desks, answer sheets stacked neatly, a clock mounted at the front of the room. When the bell rings, preparation turns into performance. For some students, that preparation began 3 or 4 years earlier. For others, even longer. Entire daily routines revolve around this goal. Morning classes, afternoon coaching, late-night revision, mock tests taken repeatedly, scores analyzed carefully, weak areas revisited again and again. In several cities, entire neighborhoods are built around exam preparation. Bookstores, hostels, coaching institutes operating year-round. It has become an ecosystem because when result day arrives, the system produces a ranking list. One list, and sometimes only a small percentage secure the seats they hoped for. The margin between success and starting over can be narrow. To manage this scale, the testing system became increasingly centralized. The goal was uniformity, standardization, fairness. Technology began playing a larger role. Question papers encrypted, transportation monitored, digital layers of security added at multiple stages. Statistically, the vast majority of exams are conducted without disruption. But trust does not rely on statistics alone. Over the years, there have been reports of paper leaks. Investigations have followed. Arrests have been reported. In a system this large, even isolated incidents raise concern. If a bridge carries millions of people every day, even a small crack matters. Because behind every rank number is a student who stayed awake past midnight. A family that rearranged finances. A household that postponed other plans. For many, this exam represents more than academic achievement. It represents movement, from uncertainty toward stability. Competitive exams are often tied to ideas of merit and equality. In theory, a standardized test creates a level playing field. Everyone answers the same questions. Everyone is measured by the same criteria. But when the stakes are this high, perception becomes just as important as procedure. Even a brief disruption can ripple across millions of futures. Technology has strengthened many aspects of exam security. Encrypted transmission systems, digital verification layers, biometric identification in some centers. At the same time, technology introduces new vulnerabilities. Cyber threats evolve. Data systems grow more complex. Security becomes an ongoing process, not a one-time solution. Some experts compare these examinations to digital vaults. Highly protected, carefully engineered, constantly monitored, yet ultimately dependent on trust. Because an exam is not only a set of questions. It is a signal to universities, to employers, to society, communicates who advances and who waits. What we know is the scale is enormous. What we know is that millions prepare each year. What we also know is that even small irregularities receive national attention. What we don't always know is whether a single moment should carry so much weight. Some educators suggest diversifying evaluation methods, portfolios, continuous assessment, skill-based measurement, not to eliminate exams entirely, but to reduce dependence on one high-pressure day. Because pressure accumulates, expectations grow, and uncertainty can sometimes feel heavier than failure itself. Students refresh result pages repeatedly. Families wait. Conversations pause. For a brief period, everything feels suspended. Then the list is published, and lives move in different directions. Some celebrate, some regroup, some begin again. The deeper question extends beyond any single incident. It is not only about whether a paper was compromised. It is about how much power a society places on one test. When millions stand on the same bridge, its strength must be unquestioned. Because in the end, without trust, an exam is just paper, and paper alone cannot carry the weight of millions of futures. And yet, every year millions return to the same desks, the same halls, the same silent rooms where pencils begin to move at the sound of a bell. Because despite the pressure, despite the debates, despite the uncertainty, the exam remains. For many students, it represents hope, a structured path forward, a system that, at its best, promises fairness through merit. Parents encourage it, teachers prepare for it, institutions depend on it. An entire rhythm of academic life revolves around it. In rural towns and major cities alike, students wake before sunrise. They travel long distances to coaching classes. They carry books worn from repetition. They memorize formulas. They revise concepts. They practice time management down to the minute. For some, this preparation becomes routine. For others, it becomes identity. Years are organized around attempt numbers. First attempt, second attempt, sometimes more. And with every attempt, expectations grow heavier. Because the competition does not shrink. It expands. Each year brings new aspirants, new test takers, new dreams entering the same limited space. Seats remain finite. Opportunities remain selective. The scale alone makes the system extraordinary. Few other processes gather millions of young people into a single evaluation moment. Few other systems influence professional pipelines so directly. Doctors, engineers, researchers, civil servants. Many begin their journey in these exam halls. That is why reform discussions continue. Not always about elimination, but about balance. How much should one score define a future? How can resilience be measured alongside accuracy? Can potential be captured in a few hours? Or does it unfold over time? Around the world, education systems wrestle with similar questions. Standardization offers clarity, but complexity demands flexibility. In India's case, the magnitude makes every adjustment significant. Even minor policy changes affect millions. That scale demands caution. It demands transparency. And above all, it demands trust. Trust that procedures are followed. Trust that safeguards are effective. Trust that fairness is more than a principle, that it is practice. Because when trust weakens, anxiety grows. Rumors travel faster than facts. Speculation fills information gaps. And confidence becomes fragile. Yet, when systems function smoothly, they rarely make headlines. Quiet success does not trend. But stability matters. Consistency matters. For the student walking into an exam hall, abstract debates fade. What remains is personal focus, a sharpened pencil, a steady breath, a countdown clock. In that moment, the system feels both enormous and intimate. Enormous in scale, intimate in consequence. A single mark can change a rank. A single rank can change a path. And that is the paradox of high-stakes testing. It is impersonal in structure, but deeply personal in impact. So the conversation continues about security, about fairness, about modernization, about reform. Not because the system is insignificant, but because it is powerful. And anything powerful demands scrutiny. The real question may not be whether exams should exist, but how they should evolve, how they can preserve opportunity while reducing fragility, how they can measure knowledge without overwhelming identity. Because education is meant to open doors, not narrow them. And systems designed to create opportunity must constantly earn the confidence placed in them. Each generation enters the exam hall believing effort will matter, believing preparation will count, believing the rules will hold. That belief is the invisible foundation beneath every answer sheet. Without it, the structure weakens. With it, millions participate willingly. So perhaps the most important result is not printed on a ranking list. It is reflected in collective confidence. Confidence that the process is sound. Confidence that outcomes are earned. Confidence that the bridge can carry the weight placed upon it. Because in the end, an exam is more than paper. It is a promise. Promise that merit has meaning. And promises, once broken, are far harder to rebuild than any question paper.